To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejados de las
This here's
puertas.
a wild ride in the woods.
When industry doors change.
So today on Miles from Main Street, we are talking expensive trips, those dream trips that you always wanted to go on. And we have a guest here with us. We've got the one and only Melissa Pilgrim with us.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us, Melissa. It's great to have you. It's been great working with you so far, and glad that we can have you on the show.
Thanks for having me, guys.
So, Melissa, go ahead and tell everybody what you do and the things that you're able to provide people.
Well, I'm a travel advisor. I started in February of 2017 and was pretty much just solely working for booking Disney and Universal trips and doing pretty good that way. Lots of clients wanting to go to Disney all the time. You know how it is. And lots of repeat people. Then right before the world went to chaos, a lot of repeat clients were trying to book out, asking me going to other places, if I book Mexico or the Caribbean cruises. So I started to kind of branch off and to do that, the major cruise lines, Mexico, Caribbean, all that. But I'm still pretty focused for the main part, Disney and Universal, just, being a destination expert, I guess they would call us. So can help with lots of things.
That's awesome. So you're from Florida, so you have a lot of background with Disney World, right?
Yes. Yeah, I grew up in Jacksonville, so just 2 hours north. We would go, not too much as kids, but as we got older and when I became an adult myself and had kids, then it was kind of a annual kind of biannual. I think all my kids' first trips anywhere were Disney World. My oldest's first trip, I think she was 4 months old. So yeah.
And I have not personally used you yet. That's coming along soon, but I have had friends work with you, and you came with high remarks and high praise. And so I was really happy to be able to partner with you. And I hope things are going good on your end for you. And it's been great for us so far. So again, thank you for that partnership. And again, I'm glad we were able to have you on the show with us.
You too. Thanks, guys.
So jumping into our episode, we are talking about expensive Disney, dream trips, just as much money as you can spend on Disney, some of those bucket list type things that we've always wanted to do.
Yeah, I've got some wonderful plans that I would love to do. So I have a lot to add to this, I guess. I think we had first talked about maybe like what our dream trip might be. Michaela, what do you got?
I mean, dream trip right now would be, I don't know. I always feel like I'd like to start with at least 2 weeks, like spending a long amount of time at Disney and the resort and kind of having that time to just randomly go do stuff. So I think kind of step one for me would be a long period of time staying at Disney. Step two would be definitely a deluxe resort of some kind. I haven't stayed deluxe just yet. Still kind of trying to justify staying deluxe. And we kind of talked about that on the last episode where I basically just said it's a hotel room for me. So I just have never really dropped that kind of money on a hotel room. But if I'm staying for 2 weeks, I think you would be able to like utilize the hotel you're staying for that long. I mean, obviously that turns into a lot of money if you're staying at a deluxe resort for 2 weeks, but this is what we're talking about. We're talking about bucket list trips. And I think when I was there last, there's just something with the Grand Floridian just kind of piqued my interest when we were there. And I just thought that, I mean, we were there for a good amount of time. We were there for like 2 hours. And I just thought that place looked really cool and it seemed really fun. So I'd have to say right now, my bucket list deluxe resort would be Grand Floridian. But I mean, other than that, any of the monorail resorts would be amazing. Contemporary, Polynesian. I've always said that I wanted to stay at the Polynesian bungalows, or like the ones that are on the water. I always thought that looked really cool. But yeah, and we can also talk about like club level, what that looks like, staying club level at some of these places, because that obviously is a lot more money. But I think that's kind of what my like just a very basic look at like what my bucket list stay at Disney would look like.
You don't have kids, do you, Mikhailo?
I do not know.
Yeah, 2 weeks on a vacation with kids sounds like not a vacation, but that does sound like a great trip for like adults.
Mm-hmm.
At least my kids, I don't know, kids for 2 weeks, but it does sound great.
And to that point, I've done Disney without kids, and I recommend it to anyone, specifically parents.
Yes, those are my favorite trips. Just with my husband, or maybe with a couple girlfriends. It's the best.
And isn't that funny? I mean, I was just I think there was an article, or no, I saw Joe Rohde commented on some article that somebody posted about Disney adults and how they're like the worst. And I just think it's funny that like this place that's like it's not meant for kids, but it's like very kid focused. We're talking about how we wouldn't bring our kids to it. So that's always funny.
I mean, I would take them, but it would be work.
Oh yeah, for 2 weeks, yeah, that would make sense.
So I have been able to stay deluxe, and we only did 3 park days in about a week that we were there, and I would recommend that you definitely take advantage of the amenities that the hotel offers. You know, like we've talked about whether you want a bed or if you want a resort, right? And so, you know, this is absolutely something that you would be using the amenities, you would be enjoying what's offered there. And for myself, I think that the Highway Dine in the Sky, I can't remember, or Highway in the Sky Dine Progressive Dinner thing, I can't remember what they call it. I'm terrible. But anyway, that's right. Okay, so yeah, I think that's something that I would definitely be doing if I was staying on the monorail. You know, and that's a progressive dinner starting at Contemporary and making your way all the way around the circle, stopping at each resort. That is one of the things that I would definitely include on one of my expensive trips.
Yeah, that sounds crazy. Like that that sounds like it would be a lot of fun. And like to that point, those types of experiences that like, I mean, if it's a dream trip, money is no object. I mean, I would definitely go on one of the like guided tours. I've always thought that like that would be fun, but just the amount of time that I always have on my trips, I just feel like just ripping myself away from like my typical park time. I just couldn't do that. I would just feel like, no, like we have to go this way. We have to go this way. And like going on a guided tour, they would show me all of these great things, but I'd feel like I like didn't have my typical park day. So having more time for me, that would give me the ability to go on some of these really cool like guided tours around Disney.
We had trouble with that the last time around. We just didn't want to take the time away and do any of those tours. Melissa, have you had a chance to do any of those?
Unfortunately, no. Normally, when I go with the kids, they want to go, 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 go. And when I go with my husband, he wants to do nothing. He wants to, go into Epcot, drink around the world, and then go hang out at the pool. So I haven't unfortunately gotten a lot of opportunity. Me and one of my girlfriends have really discussed we want to do the behind the seeds tour at Epcot's Living with the Land. We've talked about that one a few times. I did a private VIP tour with work at a conference a few years ago, and that was pretty neat. It was very fast paced though, and we kind of normally with the private VIP tours you have to do 7 hours. We I think had 4 hours because it was with work, and it was I think we did all 4 parks in like 4 hours and got a couple rides in at each, which was nice having to go in the back entrance and having a van drive you around, but it's a lot too, kind of being shuffled around. But it's a nice little perk, I guess. Walking in the back with the little plaid guys.
Well, I feel like if I'm going to be doing a trip, a dream trip like this, I'm going to have a VIP tour no matter what, like every day, right?
Yes, I mean if you have it, right? If you have you still have to pay for your park tickets though on top of the cost, but if
that just floors me. Like, yes, you still need a ticket.
It's like I'm paying $800 an hour, but I still need my park ticket.
And of course, it's going to have to be a hopper ticket to get from park to park.
Yep.
So what about like time of year for you guys? Like if you could go at any time of year to Disney, what would that time of year be?
Do you want me to go first?
Sure, go for it.
Well, I'm a fall girl. We really have a lot of October birthdays. My birthday's 2 days before Halloween, and my husband's is just 4 days before mine. So I really love Halloween and all things fall. Even though Florida doesn't really give you that fall season, at least at Disney World, you can kind of get the atmosphere of like the Northeast fall with the decor, and unfortunately you're still wearing shorts and tank tops. But that's my favorite season to go to Disney.
I would be looking at Christmas. That's just a time that I have not been there. And I love everything about the Christmas time decorations and the events that they have. And I just want to be able to experience all that on my own instead of watching it on video all the time. But that's definitely a time that I would go for my expensive trip.
Yeah, I've gone during Christmas, and I think and Christmas is definitely one of my favorite times. But I have never gone during Halloween. And actually the next trip that I'm going on is in September. So I'm excited about that. And I'm also excited about going to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, because I have also never done that before. But if we're talking about time of year, I mean, honestly, it's hard for me because Halloween has fun stuff and Christmas has fun stuff. I've done Christmas more. Actually, if we're talking about bucket list trip, I'd probably try to split them both and be there for Halloween and then watch the transition from Halloween to Christmas.
That's a great idea. Just go for like 2 weeks, like you said, catch the end of Halloween, because they don't really get everything set for Christmas until about November 8th. So you got to stay that extra time period, right?
Yeah.
That would be really neat. I've had a few people like ask about doing that, but then realize how long that is and
Mhm.
how much that costs. So normally it's just the European people that come over and they get that really good deal on those tickets and they can make it work.
I'm always jealous of those people that get to come over for 3 weeks and hang out, but it's worth it to them, right? So,
Yeah, flying international is no joke, so you might as well just stay a long time.
If you could tell me when it's not going to be very busy, that's when I would go. That'd be the best time to go. But there's no downtime anymore, so
Not really. I did look yesterday at some, I guess, prices on one of the websites, and it kind of breaks down like it's the same room and the variable of prices throughout the year. So, like, the website says that second week of January is like $300 cheaper than the first week of January for the same room. Yeah. So January 1st, this is a water view room at Yacht Club. January 1st, it's at $912 a night. January 9th, it drops to $659 a night.
Wow.
And then August 22nd, it goes to $631 a night. So August 22nd looked to be about the cheapest that it ever went. And then when you're coming like after Christmas, that last week of the year, $1,028 for the same room.
That's crazy.
So if you want to stay deluxe and you're flexible, come mid-August and you save a couple $100.
I know that's right when my kids are starting school, so I wonder if that has anything to do with it.
Probably, because Florida normally starts around August 12th. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I think when I was looking at trips, this was probably about a year ago. I was looking at February, and those dates didn't work for us. So we actually looked at like pretty much what you were talking about, like the second half of January, and we noticed that prices were way cheaper. And that typically, like in that zone, late January to early February, that's where people have always said that that's where like the lull is at Disney. And usually you can do it by like when people are in school and like when there are holidays. And I mean, we went, and the only places that seemed down around that time, and this was a year ago, so it could be even more different. But the only places that seemed down were Animal Kingdom and a little bit of Epcot. Epcot got busy at night, obviously, because people were coming for festivals and stuff. But yeah, I mean, there were times. I mean, like Hollywood Studios and Magic Kingdom seemed as busy as ever when we were there. So it doesn't really seem like there are down times anymore, but it does kind of seem like they will still have pricing as if they were down times, as if they were trying to get more people to come during those times.
The parks are probably really full with locals.
Yeah.
They're just trying to attract resort guests. They had an Epcot after 4 pass for a while. I'm not sure if they've brought that back yet. We had some family who lived down there that had that, and they would just go to Epcot daily to eat and walk around. I'm like, can I just move in with you?
Yeah, I remember hearing about that after 4 pass for Epcot. I think that would be really cool. I remember when I was in Disneyland, I was there for the Rose Bowl. And like anytime we had downtime or anytime we got back to the hotel, I'd be over at the Disney Springs area just hanging out. And I always kind of thought about that. I was like, do I buy a ticket? Like, but that would be like, I'd maybe have like 2 or 3 hours to utilize that ticket. So it would have been silly.
Never silly. Come on.
Yeah, and I don't think they're that expensive or as expensive at Disneyland as they are here, because less really to do.
Yeah.
True.
Or here, when I say here, Walt Disney World.
Yeah. We know where your heart is.
It's still home.
So we need to talk. Going back to the room types. I think we need to definitely talk about the Polynesian bungalows, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Melissa, I'm sure you've stayed in those at 3,000 a night, right?
Unfortunately not. No. I wish. Those are pretty neat.
They look really awesome. I know I've watched Tim Tracker stay in them. The plunge pool is kind of nice because when you're out there on the water like that, it does make you want to go swimming. So to have that available to you, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no one wants to get into that lake water.
No. I've also seen videos of people feeding gators from out there too. So
Oh my god.
yeah, I don't want to get in that water.
I don't know. I'm more afraid of their brain eating amoebas.
Yes. Yes.
But yeah, that's definitely high on the bucket list for me. Those rooms look insane. And I can't remember, but Brian, are those, so they're bungalows and they've got like pretty much everything you need. Like they have a kitchen. How many rooms are there in there?
I can't recall. I think it's at least a one bedroom, maybe two.
Mhm.
I
get
think
them
it's just
confused.
one. I don't think
Is
they
it?
sleep that many people.
Oh, okay.
Like, I think max is 8, but I'm kind of leaning, I think it might even be 6. They're not very big.
Makes it hard to split up that cost when you can only sleep 6.
Yeah.
Which keeps them exclusive, I guess, right?
They stay booked.
You're paying for that. You're paying for that view, right? That's what you're paying for. And
Yeah, I think just being on the water out there and just, I mean, the Polynesian in general just has that really great vibe. And then actually being on the water out there makes it feel really, really cool.
and being able to see the fireworks from there, right? Because that's part of the fun too. They've got the speakers right there, so you can hear the music and everything. And that's like something you got to enjoy from that vantage point.
Yeah, and just that resort in general is really cool. But something else we should talk about, something that you can really plus your vacation with, is staying club level at some of these resorts. I know very little about this, but from what I understand, club level is just kind of like your own little private area, not your own private area, but like everybody who's staying club level has their own area to go to, where like they have some like breakfast items that are a little bit, that are not like fancy breakfast, but like they're giving you a breakfast like a little better than continental breakfast basically. And then throughout the day, those areas are kind of stocked with like goodies, and I think I've even seen some places have like dinner options, and this is all included in your stay. There's places with like sodas and like drinks and stuff like that. But yeah, that club level is just kind of like an area that you can go with all of this free stuff basically that's built into your cost.
Yeah, we did the boardwalk club level a few years ago. When was it? It was, I think, Thanksgiving of 2018. We were there for 3 nights, and thankfully we're military, so we found a pretty good deal on it. I don't remember the cost exactly, but yeah, the club lounge is open from, I think 6 is when they put out coffee. They had like cold drip coffee and then continental kind of breakfast. At the time, they also had hot stuff. So there was like one day there was oatmeal and grits and, some kind of egg omelet thing. snacks throughout the day. Supposedly, and we never really did, but you can ask for beer after, I think, 1, but then they have it out from beer and wine from like the dinner time. I think it's like 5 to 7, and then from like 8 to 9 they put desserts out, and they have like cordials like sherry or whatever those kind of drinks are, Bailey's maybe, I'm not sure, after dinner drinks. Surprisingly, and I wasn't really expecting this, but we were there over Thanksgiving, and that night they had like sliced turkey, they had green beans, they had stuffing, they had like a carving station with a man there cutting food. Wow. Which was really nice, because when we were there, we tried to stay at the resort as much as possible. I think we went into Epcot and Hollywood Studios just because they're right there, but when you're paying for it, you kind of want to enjoy the benefits. So one really good perk that we liked was there was a little fridge in the club lounge, and you could pretty much get water and juice and like kids milk, sodas, whenever you wanted. So before we would leave, we would just go grab a couple waters to take into the park with us.
And there's your water hack for this week.
Yeah, stay club level and grab some cold waters before you go. Yeah, the inside joke is the past couple episodes we've just been talking about water. Like the middle of the episode, all of a sudden, all we're doing is talking about water hacks.
Well, it's summer and it's hot, it's hot all the time, but you need water.
And I think I also saw when Paging Mr. Morrow was staying at Animal Kingdom Lodge. He mentioned that too. He mentioned that those fridges were filled with like soda and water, but he also said that there was a fridge that was filled with Mickey premium bars, and that he would go and grab those all the time too. So yeah.
That's worth the price of admission right there.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing those. Those were not available to us at the boardwalk inn.
All right, so one of us needs to go and stay club level and report back.
Exactly. Brian?
It's kind of my turn, isn't it?
Yeah, it's true. So, talking about this dream trip, we've got other things that you can add to your trip, like fireworks viewing, or other little things that make viewing fireworks and stuff like that a little bit more magical.
The first thing that comes to my mind is a fireworks cruise. I've not had the ability to do it yet. I actually wanted to do one this last trip that we had gone on, but they weren't running them yet because they're still coming out of COVID. So, this next trip that I get to get down to the world, I'll be trying to do that.
Yeah, they're really great too, because I think the most that can do it on one boat is 10 people. Obviously Epcot and Magic Kingdom. And they provide like snacks and drinks. So that's kind of nice. You get that. I guess it's not free. You're paying for the snacks and you're paying for the drinks, but about $400 for 10 people. It's not too bad.
It's not bad at all.
Especially if it's not like a family, if you have a giant family and you're, dad's paying for one, it's not as a good deal. But if you have 2 or 3 families splitting it, it's a pretty good deal.
And I heard there's chocolate covered strawberries, so there's that.
Well, that's just makes up for the $400. Those are so good.
So like with the Epcot fireworks ones, do they still go out into the lagoon?
I believe so, yes.
I always wondered how that worked, and especially now with the cannons that shoot off from the shore, I didn't know. I think that'd be really cool to be sitting on that water when those cannons are going off too.
I think they've had those. They had those in Illuminations before.
Yeah, I don't think they get too close. Kind of just through the little, I don't even know, canal, right, and then kind of pop over. Just cut all this out. I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I don't think they get too close, but they go in a little bit, so you get a decent view of the projections and all the stuff. I'm not a huge fireworks person. Normally the fireworks start and we either hop on some rides or we get out of there. But I have 4 kids and 2 of them hate fireworks. So sometimes dad will stay with the one that likes them and I'll scoot with the scaredy cats.
Yeah, I've kind of always been kind of indifferent, especially with, I mean, when the older fireworks at Magic Kingdom were there, like I was kind of like, eh. And then Happily Ever After came out and I was like, oh, this is pretty good. And then Harmonious is Epcot. What's the ones for Magic Kingdom? Enchantment. And then Enchantment came out. And I mean, I have an emotional attachment now to Enchantment just because of, I mean, they're the fireworks that I watched after I proposed to my girlfriend. So that's kind of why I enjoy them. But yeah, I just like, I've warmed up to fireworks. But yeah, I don't know if I would ever actually pay to have like a special spot for fireworks. Usually I'm able to just kind of like weasel my way in and have a pretty decent fireworks viewing area anyways. But the one that I always do see is I think it's the dessert party at Magic Kingdom. I always end up walking past that and looking in and being like, oh, that looks cool. And because it does, like, they've just got like champagne lined up and they've got like all these desserts lined up in there. And I think that would be cool just to like go grab some dessert and some drinks and then walk out and watch the fireworks in a special spot. So, I mean, I think if it was part of a like going all out trip, I'd definitely do it.
Yeah, it definitely seems a little bougie, but
yeah.
But it's nice. People, I'm sure, like you walk by and you check it out. I'm sure a lot of people walk by and check it out and they're like, who are those people over there drinking champagne and watching fireworks?
Exactly. That's usually what I'm doing. Yeah.
Who doesn't like a buffet of desserts? I mean,
at 9:00 at night.
Right? Well, that's what the champagne's for, to kind of even it out.
Yeah. I do usually, however, I usually use the fireworks as an advantage to either, if I'm not interested in what the fireworks are doing, then just go ride rides. Or if I do watch the fireworks, we tend to book it out to a ride that we want to go on. I think the last time we did that, we booked it over to Space Mountain and we'd like walked onto Space Mountain, and this was like we sat and watched the fireworks and we had a pretty decent view. My hack is to go back down Main Street and then come around, and then they open up that little corridor on the side, run down that towards Tomorrowland, and just like and go look at the dessert party, and then go right into Tomorrowland. And that's our little hack of how to not get caught in like the craziness that is the hub and like trying to like get back into the park that way, because like there's just so many people trying to get back into the park like that, and everybody's just trying to like funnel out of the park. So
I always have to watch the fireworks with Walt and Mickey, so I'm standing right by the partner statue. I waited about 5 minutes and kind of let people clear out, and then we just headed right down the path to Tomorrowland and jumped on Space Mountain. Maybe a 20-minute wait at that point. And we get done and the park was closed, and we walked out. There's nobody around at that point. Like everyone had left, It was perfect. I've always been a fireworks guy, so when it comes to be 4th of July around here, it's like the kids want to go, and it's like, why? You've seen Disney, come on. But we're looking. I don't know if I've mentioned this on the show yet, but we're looking at a trip to Disneyland next year, and they do a dessert party for World of Color, and I think that's one that we're going to pay for. I've been wanting to do a dessert party. It's our first time at Disneyland. Why not? I don't know if I'll ever go back. Maybe it'll become my park of choice. You never know, but I just feel like I need to have one special evening there. So
yeah, I actually have a soft spot for World of Color as a lighting guy. And because I got to watch a documentary on how exactly they did all of that. So I know exactly like what kind of fixtures they used and what kind of board they used. So I think that would be a really cool presentation to see, because it's not really fireworks. It's kind of more like projections and stuff like that. But yeah, I think that would be really cool. So the last thing I kind of want to talk about is, and I kind of already do this and it's a bad habit of mine, but really kind of going out on dining and dining at all sorts of fancy restaurants at Disney. I don't do that often, but I usually try to get like one fancy sit down meal at Disney. But I mean, there's a lot of places that you can go that like should be on your bucket list for dining at Disney. One of the ones that I'll call out, and Brian, I'm sure you can agree with me, is California Grill. That place is awesome and it's super nice, super fancy. Like definitely the fanciest place I've ever eaten on Disney property. Probably the fanciest places I've ever eaten in general. But yeah, that's definitely, I'm glad I was able to do it. It's not on my bucket list anymore, but it should be on everybody's bucket list because it's it's a very, very nice place to go.
Best sushi I've ever had. But yeah, definitely. I tell everybody they should go there. It's a great place. Citrico's is another place that you need to go to. The news a couple of weeks ago is that Michelin handed out their stars, and while Citrico's didn't get a star, they did get a mention, which was like a recommendation, I guess. So yeah, they did rank up there. So of course there's the ever popular, hard to get reservation that no one can afford, and that's Victoria and Albert's. I've stood outside the door and peeked in during the day when they're closed, but that's as close as I'm getting.
I think my fanciest meal has been the Yachtsman.
Oh,
We're still in, character dining phase. So my kids are kind of picky and we don't really get to do a lot of fancy restaurants at Disney, but we have done the Yachtsman on an adults only trip, which was really great.
I've heard really good things about the Yachtsman, so that's one that I got to get to.
yeah, and the cool thing about Disney is they just have so many different options of like really great dining, and it doesn't always, I mean, some of these places will feel fancy, but even like places in parks like Le Cellier, that was another really amazing meal that I've had, and that was just in a park. And it's funny to like be in this, like, I mean, I guess like I pumped it up in my head a lot because I've heard so much about how great Le Cellier is, and to finally like be in this like fancy renowned restaurant and like people are wearing like cut off shirts and like shorts and stuff because it's a park. So that's always interesting. You definitely can't do that at Victoria and Albert's. I don't think you could get away with that at California Grill. But I mean that's another interesting thing, is that like you can have these really amazing dining experiences in the parks.
Yeah, there's so much good food.
Melissa, if you need a bougie character breakfast or dinner, I should say, definitely, if you haven't, you got to check out the Artist Point character meal. We did that one. It was awesome.
We haven't done Artist Point, and I'd like to do Topolino's too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and what's
Yeah, that
the
one.
Goodness, I'm losing it. The one with Ariel and Rapunzel and Flynn Rider at the boardwalk. What is the name of that restaurant?
Oh, Trattoria El Forno. Yeah, they
Yeah,
haven't brought
yeah.
that back
Yeah.
though.
No, they haven't. Those are 3 that I would like to do. I mean, I would like to do them. I mean, my kids. I don't know if my kids want to eat certain foods, but
We got spaghetti there.
Yeah, my fiance and I are on the fence for Cinderella's Royal Table. We think it would be cool, but we want to do it like when you can like full on meet characters, which I think they're not still doing just yet. I don't know. I can't really get a straight answer from anybody.
no,
I think it's
Cinderella's there, and she kind of walks around and might wave, but just
Got it.
her.
yeah, they haven't brought back all the princesses to that one yet. But another announcement came out just today, I believe, that they're bringing a lot of stuff back in July. So, we're getting closer. More things are coming, so that's always good.
It's exciting.
I think now it's pretty much just what they can staff.
Yeah.
But they're getting closer on things. Hoop-de-doo just reopened. That's something I haven't done.
Oh,
We've
yeah,
talked
yeah.
about that.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, expensive trips. I think we've covered a lot of areas. If I had my way, it would be Polynesian club level. I don't need to be out on the lake, but club level theme park view, a good week there. I would be doing I can't even say it, but the Highway in the Sky Dine Around, I think it is called. I'm going to go with that. That would be one of my meals, and I'd have to do California Grill. And I would just get an annual pass for however long I'm there. I don't care, because I just want to be able to get in the parks. I don't want to have to think about whether I have a ticket to go that day or not. So that would be my dream trip. Something along those lines.
Yeah, I think I would have to say Grand Floridian for 2 weeks and really trying to utilize a lot of what Grand Floridian can do for me. I don't know if I necessarily have to stay club level, because I think I would still want to be at the parks for a good amount of time. But club level would be something that I definitely want to do at some point, just to be able to experience it. So let's just throw club level in. And then I think I'd probably try to do at least like one fireworks viewing. Probably do the one at Magic Kingdom with the desserts. And then try to just, if you guys know me, you know that I go all out on dining. And so like Le Cellier, California Grill, Victoria Albert's, Be Our Guest, just like all the places. Like I'd actually probably blow a good amount of money just on dining alone. And so that would be a big part of my trip as well. So yeah, I think those for me would be like what I'd really try to focus on for my trip.
Well, for me, I think 7 nights would probably be my max if I'm bringing all my kids with me. I guess 7 nights either way. I probably can't be away from the kids for that long. 7 nights max, yacht club, and one of the like presidential suites that also includes club level. We really like Epcot. We really like, well, the kids like Hollywood Studios. Dining, we'll do maybe Tepanindo, Tokyo dining. I mean, yes, we live in Japan, but it's not American food. Japan, Japanese. They don't have those sushi rolls here. I would also get a cabana at Stormalong Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Because it would just fit my family with free waters, Cokes, special snacks and sweets. What else would we do? Maybe one of the private tours. You know, if you're really living it, why not? And definitely an annual pass. It's hard to, okay, scratch that. We would get an annual pass too, just because it's hard to tell guests when you're staying there, hey, you know, you have 5 days of tickets, but you're right next to Epcot and you have 2 extra days. Sometimes people want to just hop in for the evening and then they're like, oh no, I don't have a ticket for my full day that's at my end of my trip. So then they have to go and add an extra day to their ticket and have to worry about that. So definitely an annual pass if you can make it work. And normally if you're spending more than 8 days there, it's not that much more. Plus you get the discounts.
Which we're not worried about discounts right now, Melissa. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I'm always trying to save everyone a few dollars here and there.
Absolutely, yeah. This has been a great episode.
Buy the annual pass because you get that 20% discount on all the merchandise you're going to spend.
Yep.
Well, this has been a lot of fun dreaming and talking about, you know, how to dream about it, what we can do. Melissa, thanks so much for coming on the show. This has been a lot of fun talking to you. Hopefully in the future, you know, I think it'd be great if we could do a questions of, you know, a listener question type of show with you. So guys, if you could send us an email with your questions, or this really cool feature we have on our website, you can actually leave us a voicemail and we can play it on the show. So if you want to be on the show, please go click the button. It'll just be a floating button on the page. You just click that and leave us a voicemail. We'll get your question over to Melissa and have her come on and answer some questions about trips. And if you guys want to ask us about the show or what kind of geeks we are, you know, we'll be happy to talk about that too. So, you know, check us out. Check it out at www.milesfrommaineST.com. So Melissa, thanks again for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It was fun. Less scary than I thought.
That's good. Yeah, we like to think that we're not very scary. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, Melissa, and it's always great to talk to like-minded people who enjoy Disney as much as we do. So yeah, definitely. And thank you so much for partnering with us. Everybody out there, if you have any questions about Disney vacations, or you want to use Melissa, use her knowledge, just go ahead and reach out to her. And yeah, I think it was a great episode. Melissa, will have you on many more times, I can see in the future.
Sounds great.
But as we always say, some live close,
but others don't.
So let's talk about it. We'll see you next time on Miles from Main Street.